Hey y'all, this is Lydia. This is a Mayan cross reading for the yellow lunar star. And the yellow star is a very vibrant star glyph. It deals with ignition and feeling ourselves really coming into the true essence of who we are and setting off on a new tier and a new trajectory. There's a lot in the Mayan system today about us really seeing who we are and shifting our perceptions around who we are and opening up into the freedom of who we can be and who we see ourselves as. And there's a sense here too of being more than what we were, and not even in the sense of we are suddenly more than what we were, but we're just perceiving it and seeing it and waking up more and more to what we're capable of, our potentials, what we can put our time and energy into and create, and our power to create. And that lunar tone deals with polarity, and it deals with us coming into a dynamic equilibrium, a natural, innate balance by staying playful, by staying spontaneous, open in our inspiration and in our bright, vibrant, innate creativity. And we are in Libra season, so there's a lot here about rebalancing, but in particular, the lunar tone teaches us the value of polarity and the fact that polarizing opposites are actually working in tandem. They aren't separate from each other, much like the yin and the yang symbol. So let's get right into it. Our awareness for today, or our conscious self, is the Tower, which is dealing with inner authority, is dealing with seeing things above the clouds, being in a space of clarity, but also being in that power. That obelisk sort of imagery is one of our divine masculine energy and being in our sovereignty and being in our power and relying on ourselves and our own inner knowing to know where to go, to see where we're meant to go, what we're capable of, and what we want to put our time and energy into again. And knowing that we can create it and perhaps even opening up to a broader perception and a more open perception of what we are capable of. Our subconscious self for today is the Ring, dealing with commitment, dealing with us unblocking what needs to be unblocked in terms of what's keeping us from committing to our grand visions, what's keeping us from stepping into the full force of our power. And this also is the hidden helper. So there's a sense too of being urged to start committing to our change. It's being urged to start committing fully to our evolution and really seeing our lives as a process and not as a series of unfortunate events or highs and lows, and the lows are just something you have to deal with, but actually seeing the value in the lows by committing to our evolution and committing to this idea that, again, polarity is a single process. There was a lot yesterday about ebbs and flows and the waves being part of the ocean and these sacred cycles and these natural cycles, and us seeing them for what they are, not getting so caught up in things being good all the time, or this idea of good vibes only. That's a pipe dream. There's never good vibes only. In fact, we grow and expand the most when we really move through the difficult things, move through difficult situations and challenges. And there's stuff too today about us in our partnership as well, and with relationships within our lives, and allowing those relationships to act as mirrors and to trust what's being reflected back to us in our interactions with others, are things within ourselves that are calling to be addressed so that we can integrate that shadow and expand into more and more and more of who we are, truly. So our guide for today is the Scythe, which is cutting out what needs cutting out, and also the Harvest, and harvesting what needs harvesting. There's this idea of sort of, again, getting things back into balance by cutting out what is no longer serving us, cutting out old ways of perceiving. The sun is at 5 degrees of Libra today, dealing with our relationship to ourselves and how we think to ourselves and how we think about ourselves. So we may find we're cutting out old ways of thinking and also seeing the harvest of what we've been, cultivating this entire year. And again, with this idea of us coming into our true selves and seeing more of what we're capable of and more of our potential and feeling more ready than ever to step forward on a whole new level, really harvesting those energies and that higher frequency and coming into that and being guided by that to, again, move forward and to know that we're always expanding regardless of what's happening to us, around us, within us. So our challenge for today is the Garden, which is dealing with, again, social circles, people we interact with, our environment. And this is also asking us to not be judgmental of our environment, but really, again, tap into what is it reflecting back to us that is calling for integration. what is presenting in our lives that we are being called to fully accept so that we can open up into the freedom of actually doing something about it, or really tapping into that charged energy of perhaps a conflict, perhaps not feeling like you belong where you belong, and really using those sort of uncomfortable energies to guide us into a new way, guide us into a new environment, guide us into making changes that perhaps have been calling our name for a while now. And again, with the sun at 5 degrees and this idea of us thinking to ourselves differently, identifying with ourselves differently, perceiving differently, this can also be us, coming to an awareness, or perhaps seeing what needs to change and facing the challenge of that, and really perhaps committing to making those changes and seeing how we can move forward to make those changes. And our complement is the crossroads, which is us making those decisions, making those choices. And really, again, as we're seeing more and more potential, more and more what we're capable of, more and more of what we can create, using the crossroad energy to make those decisions and to really consider. And that 5 degrees, again, that's Geminian thought, decisions, ideas, and really starting to make those decisions. And with the ring in play and this idea of commitment, deciding what we want to commit to, deciding where we want to put our energy, and deciding again with the garden where we feel we belong and where we want to go, and these energies we want to shift into. And is our environment really serving us, or is it time to make some changes? So I hope this message resonates. I'm sending you love and wishing you well. Bye.